In 1994, my family and I went on a road trip over Europe. After hearing about this, most people think that I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth. However, what made this road trip possible was the savings my parents had to buy a house, as they strongly believed that traveling is the best education. It sounds cool, but we actually had to travel with a very old second-hand car. Under the situation which we had no information of overseas trip, our family had to face many troubles. My parents used to say to me, "Son, the world is a very big place and there are way many things to do. Travel around the world, don't be obsessed with money or honor." People ask, how are your parents preparing for their retirement? Once I asked the same questions to my parents, "Mom, Dad, do you have any plans for your retirement?" I just became speechless after listening to their answer. As my parents said so, I started traveling around the world. While my friends were preparing to get a job, I was browsing the world. More than 60 countries. I just followed where my heart led me to. Swimming with turtles in the Caribbean Sea, watching beautiful foreign sky all day, counting stars covering the sky, tasting the glacier which have melted away, and flying in the sky. From people around the world, I learned and gained so many things. I have met many people of all colors, religions, the poor and the wealthy. Every place was a marvelous textbook. Everyone was a wonderful teacher. The most important thing that I realized was I don't have to live like others. I don't need to head in the same direction as others, but I could build and follow my own path. Above all, I found out what I truly liked and what I could do well. After coming back to Korea, I started to work at a travel community. I held many events and seminars about traveling. I shared my stories to many people, and also I made the first travel English class in Korea. Then interview requests started coming through, magazine companies, broadcasting, and also I took online video lecture. I gave career development lectures at public schools in Korea. I did collaborations with many companies from abroad, organized podcasts, published a book by mistake. Surprisingly, it became one of the bestsellers. These days, people call me travel influencer. You could see me on the commercial videos, also in the class 101, where all famous people went on. So, if you ask, what's your dream? I would say, I want to live like this forever. Hello, my name is Hyoun Park from South Korea. Thank you for watching my self-introduction video. Normally people who talked about traveling at TEDx said that travel transformed their life. But I guess it's better for me to say travel makes my life. Because from the first memory in my life, I was traveling somewhere in Europe and still I'm traveling. In the video, it looks like I had a very happy childhood. But the memory system of human is ridiculous. We easily forget the happy memories, but hard to forget the bad ones. Most of memories in that travel are bad. In 1990s, there were no internet, no GPS, of course no smartphones. We had many troubles during the trip. Theft, car breakdown, sick, you name it. Even we needed to sleep in a tent, which was extremely hot in summer and cold in winter. Also, we mostly ate on the street and I had to study on the car. No hotels, no restaurants, because we didn't have much money. Above all, I was only 3 years old kid. But I remember my 4th birthday when we were in Barcelona, Spain. My mother brought me to KFC, which was my first KFC experience. It was a gourmet, this could be the good memory from that travel. And that KFC is still there. I checked in 2018 with my mom. So it means that KFC has been there at least 22 years. Anyway, let's say it was not a fancy travel. In addition, I was so afraid of everything. Different skin colors, hair, language, food, even the smells. Everything was unfamiliar, and unfamiliar means fear. I thought foreigners were kind of monsters or aliens. Even it was harder for me to get used to it because we moved all the time by car. When we crossed the border, language, hair colors, eye colors, food, smells, everything changed again. So for me, they were kind of different monsters. My mom said I screamed out loud like a crazy kid when someone wanted to say just hello to me or tried to touch my cheeks. So the first full sentence that I could speak in English was, "Don't touch me." One day we were in some very big park in Germany. The weather was so hot. Thankfully, I saw an ice cream car coming and I asked my mom to buy me one. But my father gave me a 5 mark, which was the original currency in German before euro. I remember the size of that coin was like my hand. My dad said, if you want an ice cream, you go and buy it. But again, I was only 3 years old. Even I was not really good at Korean. Of course, I couldn't say any Germany nor English. And the biggest problem was that I was thinking foreigners were monsters. So I didn't want to talk with monsters. I started to cry out loud. Maybe I was not an easy kid to raise, but it didn't work. My father kept saying, "You want it, so you go for it." It seemed like I had no choice. So I walked to the ice cream car to deal with monster who had an ice cream. But there was a problem. I was so small that I couldn't see it. But thankfully, a man next to me lifted me up to show the flavors. I could see many flavors, but I didn't have to think because at the time, only I knew were chocolate and vanilla. That was the first proper contact with foreigners for me. That's why I remember this episode very well. Of course, I was afraid, but at the same time, I really wanted an ice cream. So let's say ice cream defeated the fear. So you can see the picture of boy who revenged his parents grabbing 2 ice cream on both hands because I should have bought one. My dad took this picture to celebrate my first challenge in my life. He's a geek. Thanks to this experience, I started to get used to it with people and started to talk with strangers. No more screaming or crying. Then I realized that they were not the monsters or aliens. They were just like me. Same human. They loved ice cream like me. At the end of travel, I should think, which kind of ice cream should I pick? Because I got to know many flavors than before. I guess traveling is kind of tasting ice cream. If I just know chocolate and vanilla, that means I have only 2 options because people hardly ever choose what they don't know. So, the more I taste, the more I can choose. In other words, with more information, we can make decisions fast and rationally. And if someone is holding an ice cream, which I tried before, I could say, "Oh, I love that taste too." We can understand others as well. Also, I could be a person who loves strawberry more than chocolate, which I thought the best. If you don't try it, you would never know. So, traveling is the process of finding your own taste. I've been 60 countries for 8 years and a half. Through the journey, I could find what I like and it became my jobs, such as photographer, videographer, English teacher, party planner, career development lecturer, and tour guides. Those are all my jobs, but I don't really think that I'm working when I work because they are all my favorite taste. Sometimes I work as a photographer in Mexico, watching beautiful Caribbean Sea. Sometimes I make commercial videos in Portugal, drinking sweet port wine. Also, I go to Argentina as a tour guide, watching tango show. I love my jobs. Also, traveling is to understand people around the world. We are afraid to leave our routine because we have no information of outside world. But once you get out of your routine and travel, you would know people in this planet are same as me. What we want and desire, dream, is so much similar than it is different. Then finally, you would see the world with wider view without stereotypes, which will make your life sweeter and tastier. There are too many tastes in this world. Don't stay in few flavors. Go out and try more flavors in this world. I would like to finish my talk with this question. What's your favorite taste? And how many flavors do you know in this world?